Welcome to another explainer. Look, if you're a cloud architect, a DBA, or an IT operations pro working with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, you already know that keeping an eye on database health is absolutely crucial. But actually getting a clear, unified picture? Yeah, that can be totally exhausting. So today, we're going to walk through a very clear, practical blueprint for finally conquering that dashboard fatigue. We'll be bringing all your OCI database backup metrics into one centralized view using log analytics.
Let's be real for a second. Are your database backup metrics currently scattered across like a dozen different OCI tabs? It's a daily pain for so many ops teams. You know the drill. You're jumping between different consoles, you've got multiple browser windows open, and you're just trying to manually stitch together this picture of your database health and backup compliance. It is super time-consuming, it leaves a ton of room for human error, and frankly, it keeps you from doing the higher value work you should be focused on. Okay, let's dive into this.
Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The fragmented monitoring problem. 2. A centralized architectural solution. 3. Key implementation milestones. 4. Configuring the REST API. 5. Querying your new insights. And finally, number 6. The value of correlation.
Section 1. The fragmented monitoring problem. A tale of two silos.
So the core issue we're facing is that the data you actually need for a complete operational picture, well, it currently lives in entirely separate domains. Your recovery service metrics, we're talking things like backup job status and duration, those are sitting way over in the OCI monitoring service. Meanwhile, your essential database backup information, like database configurations and backup policies, that has to be pulled from the OCI database service REST APIs. Having these two critical pieces of the puzzle completely separated just makes fleet-wide analysis incredibly complex. Honestly, you simply cannot spot trends easily when your data is locked away in silos.
Section 2. A centralized architectural solution, the blueprint.
Meet the real hero of our new architecture, the REST API log source. Basically, this is a configuration within Oracle Log Analytics that periodically reaches out to those OCI monitoring REST API endpoints. It automatically fetches the absolute latest time series metrics, like your backup durations or your success and failure rates, and just pulls them directly into Log Analytics. It literally does all the heavy data gathering lifting for you.
So the crucial point is how these three pieces connect to create a seamless flow of data. First up, the REST API log source defines exactly which OCI endpoint we're targeting. Second, the Oracle Management Agent acts as our collector on the ground, authenticating securely via a resource or instance principal. And third, the data ingestion phase takes over, parsing those collected metrics and formatting them so they are perfectly structured for your centralized dashboards.
Section 3. Key implementation milestones. Building the bridge.
The build phase starts with access and configuration. Step 1 is establishing permissions. You do this by creating a dynamic group in OCI, say calling it Management Agent Dynamic Group, and attaching the necessary IAM policies so your agent can securely read the audit logs. Now, step 2 requires tweaking your agent's configuration a bit. You'll need to append the REST API report interval parameter directly to the agent's emd.properties file and then give it a quick restart. Just keep in mind, the collection interval defaults to 300 seconds, but depending on your specific operational needs, you might actually want to bump that up to 600 seconds.
And this brings us to a step that honestly so many people skip: verification. Step 3 is all about going into OCI monitoring under the Oracle OCI database namespace to verify that your raw metrics, stuff like backup size or backup duration, are actually populating. Seriously, don't fly blind here. Once you confirm the data is there, you move to step 4, which is where you create your host entity in Log Analytics and officially associate your newly configured agent.
Section 4. Configuring the REST API, the critical connection.
Now, when you're setting up your log source endpoint, you are going to need to input some specific parameters. You'll use a post HTTP method, request a JSON content type, and set your parser, in this specific case, to OCI_backup_duration. But you know what's really interesting about these settings? It's the simplicity of the credential type. Notice how it's set to none? That right there is the beauty of using those dynamic groups and resource principles we set up earlier. The authentication is handled entirely seamlessly by the architecture itself, which keeps your configuration incredibly clean and, most importantly, secure.
Section 5. Querying your new insights, from data to dashboards.
Because your data is finally centralized in Log Analytics,
You can use simple query languages to get immediate answers. Just by running a basic search for your backup duration and asking it to calculate the average grouped by database name, you instantly get this amazing fleet-wide view of how long your backups are actually taking. What used to require opening 10 different tabs can now be visualized dynamically on one single unified screen. It's a total game changer.
Section 6. The value of correlation, beyond just dashboards.
So why go through all this trouble? Well, it's because of correlation. When your metrics become searchable log entries, you get dimensional data enrichment, meaning you can create custom fields from things like compartment IDs or device types. But the real magic? That's cross-domain correlation. Imagine seeing a sudden, massive spike in your backup duration for a specific database. Instead of just guessing why it happened, you can immediately correlate that exact metric with system resource contention logs happening at the exact same time. It turns a complete mystery into lightning-fast root cause analysis. It even unlocks predictive insights, allowing you to identify degradation patterns way before a major system anomaly actually occurs.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative question. What operational insights are currently hiding in your fragmented backup data? By centralizing your metrics through OCI log analytics, you can finally stop reacting to disjointed data and start operating with total visibility. I highly encourage you to implement this unified observability strategy in your own environment today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy monitoring.